who wants to do the recap from last session?
We started like finally a journey to Trescon, uh, with the help of the Queen. We got a airship, um, and the travel was fairly okay until a few people realized that we were being followed. Uh, and at some point, a creature uh, flew down really close to a ship and started like stealthily take notes about us. Uh, we wake up everyone and for a few minutes try to act like nothing was happening until Anissa came forward and call out the person to be like, "Why don't you join us?" and stop hiding. And then we start a conversation in different languages with this creature. Um, Basically, they were archivists, and they would take notes about uh, the ship and everyone on it, more specifically us. Uh, they are one of those creatures that we get a few informations. Lately, they were called the ones above, or the inactivus, how
Yeah,
they
that's right.
call themselves. Um, we talk a little bit about it, and in the end, we agree upon writing a little bit about ourselves in exchange for a few questions, mostly related to the diamondback beetles. We discovered that they are indeed nasty, consume everything magical, and they are not to be messed up with. Uh, we discovered also that ash works to attract them, and they were supposed to be banished to this realm. So most likely is for work of someone to bring them back. But after a few questions and a few insights, we finally arrive at Trescon at the border, where we are met by a soldier who help us get inside, and we start the journey towards the first town, the closest town, which is Marknark, where we are right now. Uh, we arrived there, talked to the grandson of the town's founder, Martin Pazan III, and we discovered that apparently this uh, Beetle fuck up thing is not of concern for everyone else. It's like everything is fine. It's like my life. Uh, and we also discovered that a festival is going to happen in a few days. So right now we are kind of waiting for the festival and waiting for maybe gather a few more intel about the situation in here.
Yes, it is going to happen tomorrow afternoon,
Yes.
the festival. I have it here that at the end of the session, Dolores was going off to the church to go do Baldre things, and Cain was going to talk to Quintoris, the
Mm.
druid that you came across, but I don't think I wrote anything down for the others. Unless otherwise, the rest of you guys can rest in the inn. Um, the rooms have been paid for the night, and you can enjoy a long rest.
Yeah, I think I'll long rest.
Okay. Dolores, you make your way through the village and to the church. The lights are on inside. There's just simple torches here. Electricity hasn't reached the smaller villages yet, so there's a couple of torches blazing on either side of an open church door as you approach.
Okay. So Dolores will, of course, come up to the door and knock on it.
You rap on the open door. There's a figure inside who was kneeling down in front of an altar, seems to be praying. He turns towards you, middle-aged human man. Uh, he makes his way slowly over to the door. You see he has a limp as he approaches. He bows to you. Good evening from the Church of Baldre. How may I be of assistance?
Yes, hello. Blessings of Bulgari upon you. My name is Dolores. I almost forgot. Dolores. My name is Dolores Hearthglow. I am an acolyte from the Temple of Nine in Aricie.
Oh, but wonderful. What are you doing so far out? Has Dionysus sent you to assist me?
She kind of like feels herself like, or she feels like the back of her neck kind of just like shudder as she remembers her her divine intervention, but then she just tries to put on like a smile and she says, "No, I'm currently on a religious pilgrimage of sorts from Boldre herself. I'm traveling with a group of others, and we have just arrived tonight."
Are you looking
Uh,
for refuge?
if it would not be too much, a simple bed would do nicely. I do have another question though.
Ask anything, my child. Please come in.
She
Step
not
aside.
like she bows courteously, and she like walks in, and as they kind of like walk and talk, she says, I've stopped by the local tavern just for directions, and I've heard that there was another priest that had arrived here.
Yes, that would be myself. They call me Kadir.
Uh, do I would I recognize, like, I know I didn't recognize the name last time, but like looking at him, would I have ever seen him in the temple before, or is he like not on like the more upper parts of the sort of like church order?
He does have quite a forgetful, kind of generic-looking face, and doing work all the way out in the villages would indicate he's quite low down in the order.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, looking at him now, you can roll a history check to really rack your brain if you like, but first impression, you're not.
This is something that is kind of like she really wants to kind of like understand, especially after like the Dionysus thing, kind of a shake of faith. So now she's a bit more, unfortunately, suspicious of her own brothers and sisters of the cloth and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think a 12's gonna do it though.
No, because he just has such a forgetful face. It's hard to pin him anywhere. You feel a slight suspicion that maybe you remember seeing someone limping around whilst Dionysus was last visiting the Temple of the Nine,
Okay.
but you can't be certain.
Nothing that, as suspicious as Dolores is, she wouldn't want to pin anything directly without, like, comfortable confirmation.
Yeah, you'd need to research further.
Sorry, I didn't realize that it was you. I don't seem to have remembered you during my time in the church.
Well, there are churches to train the ministry all over the empire. I trained in Relaine, so we probably
That would
have
do
met.
it. Yes, of course. That would make sense. You mentioned head priest Dionysus. Were you sent here directly on his orders, or are you here for just for the Midsummer Festival?
Yes, they wrote. Well, they passed by through Ripmere, where I was stationed at the time, and they asked me to come to the smaller villages, and I was given the honour for the first time of participating in the Mayfair celebrations.
I see. How was head priest Dionysus when you last encountered them?
Yes, they seemed quite chipper, quite fine, little bashful. They came with the head surgeon, and well, just tell you the truth, it seemed like there was something between them.
Can I determine if there's any like details that he's like withholding, if he's like trying to skirt around something, or if he's not being like directly forthcoming with his info?
Yeah, absolutely. You can roll an insight check.
Okay, I didn't want to ask for insight directly.
That's fair.
15.
He's hiding something. He's kind of it almost feels like he's discussing the possibility of the head priest being in a relationship as like, I'm gonna spill this tea so you don't think I have any other tea that may be better.
I'm gonna be mischievous
Ooh.
as a neutral good character, and I'm going to like go up on my tiptoes a little bit and just kind of like softly, although I don't think that the church right now is like highly occupied, but still in kind of a salacious sort of like whisper, but loud enough that he could hear me from how short I am. I'm just going to say, Priest Kadir, I do hope you are not suggesting any. I'm trying to think of the words. Hold on. I hope you're not suggesting any sort of relationships that the head priest might be having.
Oh, nonsense. Being in a relationship, forging a community is part of the worship of Baldre. It is an honourable and wonderful thing to commend relationships when they begin to bloom.
Love and sprouts of it are indeed wanted by Boldre, but we must remember that it is still within some of our directives as worshippers of her that we do not deign to attempt to push for any form of rumor milling, especially as such.
You are correct. This is one of the misvirtues to begin rumours. They are poison to a community. I see that you have done very sufficient learning.
Half of my life with the church so far, I've felt a great pull towards Boldre and have dedicated thus for her. Speaking of poison, the as I have mentioned, I come from Aricier's Temple of Nine. The queen of the capital has fears, I must say. She has heard of a strange plague that might blight here in Threscron. Have you heard of any of any of anything like that?
He seems to regard you with a new light as you ask, as if he's done his own pondering of you and now realizes something new inside himself. And he just looks very. He's almost recontextualized now that he's looking down on you as if you're an innocent child. Oh, yes, it's there's a couple of orchards that are suffering. This is why you shouldn't exploit magic to circumvent the sanctity of raising plants yourself.
Although Boldre respects the laymen and their work and toils in the fields, we should not also downplay those that still provide for their kin, even if it is through non-labor means.
This is true, this is true. But see what has become of this in particular. The fruit trees are dying, the economy around them is struggling.
Our apes are all gone.
It's truly a tragedy what is happening to the people. That is true. And my heart does go out for them, and I am happy to see that it has not spread this far.
That is part of concern that the queen has, and why she has sent me and my compatriots up here. We are to investigate and figure out the source and if there is a way to end it. Though it seems that when mentioned to the townsfolk at the inn, they knew nothing, or seemingly, possibly, they were not wanting to recognize it as such.
Well, word does travel slowly to remote villages such as these. I would be surprised if many of them had heard. You know, it's not like many of them can read a newspaper when it arrives anyway.
But one would still think that even as such a small town as this, that relying upon the fields and the orchards, they would be able to notice signs of a blight.
All the more reason to suspect it has not travelled quite this far. Any rumours I have heard of the plague seem to be that it is quite contained, nothing to worry about. Much farther up
Hmm.
north, anyway.
She's just gonna kind of like think contemplatively, just like rub her chin. Yes, we are heading towards the north. We might be leaving within the next couple days. My compatriots have spoken about staying for the festival at the very least.
Oh, as well you should. I'm going to perform several marriages in the morning. Sorry, I believe it's actually rescheduled to evening after the other festivities. The ultimate
Would
celebration of Baldra. You should stay.
would you be needing any assistance with any of the ceremonies?
That is kind of you to ask, but you can help me carry some of the items that I require for the wedding ceremony.
I know that you mentioned like he kind of like had a change of like how he views Dolores, but
Mhm.
is he like is he like looking upon her as if she's like a novice or something, or
Um, you can roll insight or religion.
oh boy, okay. I'm gonna go for religion this time because I want to kind of go for like she's gonna try to figure out if he thinks that he's higher or lower than her in
Mhm.
kind of like the uh in like the order of such. 14.
Uh, you do know that generally the type of ceremonies that are performed around this time um, generally would have a higher and a lower ranked priest that assisted the higher ranked one. Um, so you do find it odd that he's only asking you to carry some items, but it doesn't seem to be a rank based decision because he is still referring to you with kindness and deference that you would expect a lower ranked person such as he to give you.
Hmm. Would it not more benefit as per the actual customs for me to provide more attendance of assistance?
Oh, these in small villages such as these, the ceremonies are often tailored to be performed by only one priest. You see, it's hard enough to get one out here, let alone two. We wouldn't want to upset the villagers by performing something different. I will just perform the single man ceremony. But I appreciate your offer.
What about the single woman ceremony? No, I understood. If it is within their personal customs, then I would not want to impose any further.
The priest stops, having arrived at the rectory, um, which is you went down a bit of a corridor and you've arrived at what is essentially a bunk room.
We
Uh,
walked really slowly.
but you did. Well, he does have trouble mobilizing. He's got a bit of a
Mm.
limp.
We're kind of on pace, like with Dolores' short legs and
Yeah.
his limp. We're essentially walking at the same pace. Um,
He finally shows you to your bed. It's one of about 12 in the room.
thank you for providing Bulger's hospitality as is custom.
Anytime, my child. Have a peaceful evening.
As she gets ready to go into the room, she turns around and she says, Priest Kadir,
Yes.
what's of your opinions and feelings of head priest Dionysus when you first met them?
Interesting question.
It's not something that it would deign suspicion, but it's kind of like, it's like when you first met them, like, how did you feel?
I felt at home. Something about their aura, it just radiated rightness.
That's what I first felt when I met them the first time too. Good night, Brother Kadir.
Good night, Sister Dolores. With that, he shuts the door, and you can hear his footsteps very slowly walking away.
And then Dolores will set up and turn in for the night.
You get yourself onto one of the cots. Not the comfiest thing on in the world, but it beats sleeping on the floor or in a forest, and you can get a long rest. Cain, you trot to the outskirts of the city where you see a cottage covered in plant life.
Oh.
You realise that is probably the one that Quintoris lives in.
Okay. How late is it? Because I don't want to like bother too much too late in the night.
Yeah, it's like 8 p.m.
Okay.
Right now, but you do see that there are lights on inside. You can see movement through the windows.
Okay. I just knock at the door.
Quintoris opens the door and answers, beaming, "Ah, my fellow man!"
Hello. Queen Taurus, am I right?
That is I.
I was hoping we could speak for a while.
Absolutely, come in. I've just put on some nettle tea. Would you like a cup?
I would love to. Thank you very much. I just get in, take off my boots.
You have to do it very carefully because there's, you want to say, about 20 cats just milling around the place.
Oh, you seem to be uh, really fond of your feline friends.
Oh, well, isn't everybody?
Indeed.
To tell you the truth, I keep them and I feed them so they won't go off and mindlessly kill some of nature's other children. That being said, I
Uh,
do quite enjoy their company.
well, that's really mindful of you. And they are indeed really beautiful creatures.
At that
Um,
moment, one of the cats just rubs its face on your leg.
ooh, can you have like a squeak, a control squeak? Because like he anything pretty much doesn't come in contact with him pretty often, so it's like an alien feeling.
Hmm.
And then he will like, uh, well, I hope I'm not intruding on your nighttime.
Oh, it's no bother. I was just attempting to groom Jasper here. And you see this like very disgruntled, like long-haired cat that has been strapped to a table. Kind of like
Okay.
it's spread out, tummy down, four little straps holding each of its paws down. Tail is flailing wildly. It's half brushed. The other half is very matted. It has a squished in face, and it's just looking at you like, get me the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna use this as a distraction to kind of. I want to see if this person is like magic inclined, like truly a druid of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Are they actually a druid, or are they just a crazy cat person?
Yeah, if it's just a nature freak.
What's the difference?
That's the thing about small towns. As soon as anyone that's weird comes in with like 20 to 30 cats, they assume they're a druid.
And all the plants in the yard isn't like druid magic. It's actually just like yard keeping neglect.
The house covered in plants and mugs and everything just natural.
Yeah. Sure. How do you want to try and gauge their religiousness or magic
I
ability?
was thinking I could maybe cast detect magic or maybe a natural check to see if like everything is like natural or magic claim.
That's fair. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could do detect magic, or you could roll a nature check.
Sorry.
It's alright.
Well, I'm gonna go with detect magic and try to aim specific at them and at the place.
Sure. I think it's like a 30-foot aura basically, which would cover the whole house, and there's definitely not a thick enough wall to like stop, so you can also get a bit of the outside as well. You do see this like kind of cool green enchantment aura coming off of Quintoris right now, which makes itself a bit more obvious when Quintoris bends down, looks Jasper in the eye, and goes meow 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 meow.
That is a harmful stereotype for all druids, and you know it.
Jasper just responds meow. They're clearly having a conversation.
I gonna cast speak with animals just to understand too.
It just jumps in when Jasper is going, and your mother and your father as well. Fuck all of you.
Well, Quintoris, I
Oh, I
was
didn't know you spoke feline.
well, has so happened. I'm a fellow druid. I'm more towards the medicine side of it. I'm a doctor too, but yeah, I have some skills.
Well, would you kindly help me with some of these? And Quintoris like rolls up one of his sleeves to see that it is covered in cat scratches. And as he does so, you can hear Jasper chuckling to himself.
Who is the most willing cat in here to like no what that's probably one that wants to be brush off.
You can ask them.
Yeah, sure. I'm like, is that anyone who would want to go first?
There's a there is a couple of naked cats. What are they called? Sphinx cats.
Sphinxes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That kind of look and they put one of their paws up in the air each and give you a bit of a sassy look. And then this very equally long-haired as Jasper white cat just jumps down from above where the two sphinxes were, just brushes her tail in their face. I would love a quick little brush if you wouldn't be so kind, my dear.
It would be my pleasure. And I just sit down and make my lap ready for them.
Quintoris grits his teeth and turns back to Jasper and is like, "Please, I will let you hunt a mouse tonight if you just let me finish, please." And the cat jumps up onto your lap. They call me Esmeralda.
It's a pleasure. King. And I start brushing them.
It is
And
not often that I have someone of an equal constitution to myself to be brushing me. Why are you so pale?
um it's a, a medical issue,
Oh,
unfortunately.
not contagious, is it?
No, thankfully not. And
Very
I'm
well.
of course with my gloves and everything.
However, cats are not that smart. So she doesn't inquire further. She just goes, "Very well, you may proceed." She just makes herself available for brushing.
And I'll start brushing them and look at Clitoris and be like, um, if you don't mind me asking from a fellow druid for another druid, I expect that you're quite attuned with the nature around the city. And did you happen to notice any new uh, issues around?
Issues? Well, depends what you mean by issues, I suppose.
Well, I heard from a few people about some kind of, how can I put this, a plague around the area.
Hmm. Yes, so I've heard. I've seen no evidence of it in this region, though. Perhaps it is slow to spread.
I really wish so. From what I heard, it's a really nasty plague, a really hard one to cleanse.
Oh, but how would you cleanse it? Just in case it should happen to come here.
Uh, well, we fortunately got some intel about it. It's related to diamondback beetles, and unfortunately,
Diamondback beetles, what are they?
there's some kind of magic eating beetles.
And
They
are
are supposed to
carnivore? How frightful.
yeah, they're supposed to eat every piece of magic that they come across. Really dangerous.
So the plague is just a plague of beetles.
Yes, and they are consuming everything in the path. But the most alarming thing is that they don't stop at nature. They consume everything. And I'm gonna make a really, really obvious pause in everything, like flesh included.
Ugh. I shall make sure to cut one out if I ever find it on my skin then.
Indeed.
Is that why
Uh,
you came here, to warn me of beetles?
kind of. Well, you see, me and my companions, we talked to uh, Martin Pazon, and apparently no one else in the city knew about this, which make me quite alarmed since it's such a huge thing that's happening across the country. If they ever arrive here at any time, you guys would be unprepared to dealing with it.
Mm. Well, thank you for letting me know.
Also, as a fellow druid, I think that you would be the most knowledge person to know about such issues and have any intel on it.
It would be fascinating to ask the beetles about their. He just trails off mid thought, and he starts to pause, and you just hear Jasper shouting up, "Can you hurry the hell up?" He looks about 3/4 done now.
Oh my god. uh, uh, um, and well, I want to ask. I I know those can sound a little bit crazy, but is that anyone that came out um lately at the city? I believe it was a priestess and a guild master. Do you happen to know anything about them?
With the surgeon and the Baldre priest.
Indeed.
Yes, they stopped briefly in their airship. They landed it right on the green in Martinac. I think they wanted to spend an evening just not on the ship. I think they've been flying a couple of days by then. Yes, they've just settled in, brought a few drinks, rented all the rooms for them and their flock. They were gone the next morning, crack of dawn. The only one that was awake at the time was our hunter and Balinor priest, Bismuth.
Oh, and where can find them to talk?
He'll almost certainly be asleep by now. Your best bet is the tavern in the well. Tomorrow's the fest. You could speak to him at the festival.
Yes. And uh, how does he look like, just in case for me to find him easier?
He's a halfling with red hair.
Okay.
It's the only one in the village.
Well, I really appreciate your time and your honesty with me. I honestly don't want to impose any more than I already did.
Quintoris is
So
finally done brushing Jasper, just steps away, and then with a snap of fingers, all four of the buckles holding Jasper down unclasp. Jasper stands up, stretches, examines one of his paws, licks it, looks dead in Quintoris's eye, and then jumps down from the table, head held high in disgust. Walks off. Yes, I think it would be best if we retire now.
I'll just grab Esmeralda,
Meow.
probably finish to pet her, and then put her on the ground. And um, it's been a pleasure, my lady, to offer my service to you.
I think Speak with Animals has a 10-minute limit, and that would have passed by now.
Okay.
So she just brushes up against you as well, leaving just
Well then,
white fur on your trousers, as well as, you know, all of it that's on your lap.
and all of me actually.
Yeah. You look even whiter than before.
I just stand up, give a little brush, and well then I shall take my leave. Have a good night.
You too. With
And
that,
with that, I'm back to
yeah,
the tavern to sleep.
everyone gains the benefits of a long rest, and morning finally
Huzzah.
comes.
Okay. So as morning comes, I'll check in with Kadir and just verify if there's any like preparations that we need to make for the festival today.
He clarifies that he will need some help carrying some things to the green in the afternoon. The green being right next to the church, so it's not that difficult or that far. And says that he will load up what he can, where he can, and direct you in the afternoon.
Okay. So I'll meet up with everybody then, and then come back around noon.
Cool.
To prep everything for that.
Davina, you finally wake up somewhere that is not your mansion. You smell breakfast being cooked, but it is far from the fare that your cook would demand.
Peasants. Peasants. Okay, it's fine. I'm fine. I get up, I get ready. I don't spend nearly as much time on my hair because what's the point? But I do go downstairs or wherever the food is located.
I mean,
Probably some common room.
Davina would be attending the festival with everyone, so would she like really want to like not look as prettied up for a big major event where everyone gets to look at her?
I don't want to become a target for pickpocketing. This is a festival full of peasants.
Damn, that's a pretty good explanation.
How did Anissa sleep?
Oh, that's why.
Ah, hello.
Acceptable enough. Like, she's packed up, she's ready to go.
Great. In your
Just
like
waiting
full
downstairs.
armor.
Yeah.
Okay. You're waiting downstairs as Davina just kind of tumbles out. She's looking a lot more disheveled than usual.
There's already coffee waiting there.
Davina, your choice of food is an apple and some stale bread and hard cheese, or a bowl of quite plain porridge.
Davina counts to 10 in her head and then eats the porridge. She's not okay with this.
It's got an odd texture, and you can tell it was made with water instead of with some nice warm milk. So that just adds insult to injury.
Next time we're
It's
bringing
made
the
with-
cook. Next time we're bringing the cook.
It was made with love and care, and she hates that. Those are her two
Hey.
most hated ingredients in the world.
My servants loved me. They practically raised me. Nobody comment on that.
No, sweetie, I think what you were tasting was spite and vindictiveness.
You know what? Spite's delicious. This is bullshit.
You know what they say is the spites of life. No, Davina, I think it's spice. I think I know what I'm talking about. I went to school.
Your tears flavor the porridge as you eat. Does Anissa eat as well?
Probably already has, to be honest. It's very much, right, I'm up. Right, we're going.
Yep.
Yeah, then I will probably talk about my conversation with Victorious in detail, and
Do you describe all the
about
cats as well?
sure, I'll describe everything. And also the hunter, the halfling hunter, and that's probably the best lead that I could get.
Right. You will have the morning ahead of you, and the festival in the afternoon. What do you guys do? Does Dolores talk about the conversation with Kadir at all to the party?
Yeah, Dolores will bring up like what she learned, and she says, but apparently the priest here is from not from Rissier, so no direct contact with Dionysus, but he did meet up with them apparently. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but something still doesn't feel necessarily right. Because, as we saw last night, none of the people here are aware of the beetle plight that is happening. Yet, if they are indeed going for the orchards, even if they're isolated within a certain area, I think it would still be noticeable.
Perhaps the orchards here are ineffective for some reason.
You did find very little in the way of orchards around this village. It's mostly grain fields and pastures for animals.
Davina's like braiding her hair.
From
kind
what
of
we
like.
know about, sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, I was kind of in a way of like I'm gonna get ready, but only because we have so much time.
Yeah,
She's really dragging
have
her
your,
feet.
have your vanity project. From what we figured or learned about these beetles, are they primarily just like infestive towards trees only, or are they more of just like a general kind of plague blight insect thing a la locusts and all that?
They definitely seem to be more geared towards, from what you've heard, I should say, they seem to be more geared towards like the magical orchards around the capital. But there have been reports of people being infected as well.
Yeah, we figured that because of the magic eating.
Yeah. It seems that like while the larva eat the magic in order to grow, the bugs themselves, once grown, do tend to also devour any plant life around it.
Do we know if they can swim, like cross bodies of water?
You don't know.
Considering that, I think we learned that they don't fly,
Yeah.
but they do have a
Jump.
ridiculous vertical jump height. Like these
it's
beetles
not
be
just
Duncan.
vertical. They could jump 10 foot horizontally.
Yeah, so they're NBA professional bugs. The National Beetle Association, god damn it. Okay, so I don't know. I will be assisting Priest Kadir for the ceremonies to be held during the festival, so I will be departing again around noon to help with that.
Okay, be sure to keep a ear on them.
There was one other thing. I almost didn't think of it because I thought it just a bit more rumorish, but it seems that Brother Kadir thought that Head Priest Dionysus and the guild master may have some sort of relationship going between them.
You mean a romantic one?
That is what Brother Kadir implied, but if it was something romantic like that, that's not necessarily one something hides of if knowing Boldre, as she promotes and recognizes love growing between others. So it would be strange if they were trying to keep it any form of hidden.
Davina, your
Well-
mind
Though it-
goes back to being on the ship on the way to Rolane and your own meddling in that exact relationship.
Listen. That wasn't with Dolores. That was with someone else.
I said Davina.
Oh. Damn, Davina, going against Boldre, how dare you? No,
Look, she
yeah,
needed
I
I
think
don't worship Baldre. I don't have to.
She needed a distraction. If I recall. We're going
Dolores
back 2
hears-
weeks in game, 1 year of real time.
Dolores hears of your manipulation, and she's like, I'm sorry, Davina, but unless you repent to Boldre, I can't heal you anymore."
I'm so sorry.
Cure Wounds privileges are revoked.
Fun fact: I can't roll lower than like what is it? Like a 25 on deception.
I cast Mass Healing Word, and I withhold Davina from the casting.
Like you would ever find out. I'm too good of a liar for that.
I don't know. I might roll a 19 or a 20 if you get the minimum roll, and that would be enough. Yeah, I think that is all the information Dolores has to share with the group.
Well, maybe it's not about the issue for the priests, but an issue for Fortuna. And I'm gonna ask Davina because I think maybe Davina or Anissa knows better about uh the Sarge Guildmaster like position, if they would be like allowed to have a relationship with a priest, or if it's like some hierarchy thing.
I can't think of any reason why they would be restricted.
Is the Surgeon's Guild part of Orissier?
It's a part of the empire as a whole.
Okay.
The
So then, yeah.
there is a local local chapter of it in Orissier, which is where Fortuna calls home. So that's where she now runs the whole guild from.
Yeah. And like, because it's the Surgeon's Guild, like it's a whole guild thing that benefits the entire continent. Is it like known that they can't have like like they can't fraternize with like other members of higher positions of power, or is it just like they can't do like, corruption based stuff only?
Yeah, it is a bit dependent from like religion to religion. Um, for example, the religion of Doldorn is a bit more towards not having relationships with unbelievers. But in general, it is like the rules against what priests can do. Corruption is much more severely punished than breaking rules that a lot of people would naturally break because they all have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially in a church like Baldre, where community is encouraged, relationships with secular people is not illegal. It's not looked down upon.
Yeah, of course not. Is Fortuna's religious beliefs public knowledge?
You know what? You can roll a history or a religion check for that.
Religion's better, so I'm gonna err on the side of probability. There we go.
It is moderately well known that Fortuna worships Orion.
And does Orion have any of the like keep it within the house sort of situation, or is that more of just kind of a neutral stance on that?
Yeah, Orion very much doesn't care either way because Orion is mostly dedicated to the collection of knowledge.
Which would benefit more with non-secular as
Yeah.
opposed to just keeping everything locked in. Okay.
Yeah, being closed off has never led to learning more.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, sorry, one last thing. With the 20, you would also know that Orion, the god in the pantheon, is actually married to Baldre.
This is too on the nose.
I'm in hysterics.
Right better.
I'm doing the gods'
Wow,
work.
what
Leave
a-
me alone.
If it,
Wow,
that's the
what
thing.
a fucking trope.
Complete accident.
Fucking cliche. As far as I'm aware, Fortuna is a worshiper of Orion, and that's not necessarily one that frowns upon uh, commingling with others outside of the church.
Well,
So, unless it is for some reason based off of Fortuna wanting to hide the relationship for any other reason, don't see why it would be something that Dionysus would feel to not have known.
maybe it's something related to, you know, think of Davina having a relationship with a commoner kind of way.
I'm imagining this. I'm
Put it
rotating
on the
the
list
two
of
of
things
them
that would
kissing
never
in my
happen.
mind.
Never happen.
So if that somehow happens, I'm pretty sure she would try to hide this. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm. No, that doesn't make sense in this situation. I understand why Davina would do it as part of her own vanity, but necessarily it does not fit as a catch-all for this situation. If anything, Davina's a bit of an outlier example you have provided. One may say she is a Beatles George in this situation, where she skews the results of probability based off of her huge influence.
Maybe just hear me out on this. This point has absolutely nothing to do with why we're here. Either as one person or both the people you've mentioned in this example just want to keep their private lives private, given that they are quite public people. And it has absolutely nothing to do with why we're here, why we're staying for this festival. I really don't know. We should honestly be moving, but at this point, whatever. And she just carries on drinking coffee.
Well, they
You've had like
invited
4
us
cups
to
over
stay.
this time.
And we could have very easily politely declined.
It would be rude to turn down their hospitality, especially as I'm already now inclined to assist with the wedding ceremonies this evening.
Of course you are. Right, sure.
Well, I don't mind anyway, but my point is we don't have much leads about them, and with the recent skirt about Dionysus not being who he seems to be, I want to be more prepared to deal with them when we find them.
There should be more people possibly later if the festival is indeed as popular as it is. There may be more people that could provide answers.
We should at least talk to the head halfling, and we don't have to stay for all the festival. We can leave as soon as we want to.
You have spent enough time talking amongst yourselves and getting yourselves ready that it is now approaching midday.
Dolores will excuse herself as she goes to like double check and make sure with like preparations and everything.
Does anyone want to help her out?
No, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Leave the cleric to her clerical duties. It's fine.
She's the one that wants to work overtime every time.
First off, that's called staying in character.
I know, but well, you overworking.
It's called roleplay,
Poor
sweetie.
Dolores.
I haven't
Poor
gotten exhaustion
Dolores.
from it yet.
That's a good point.
You're just doing a regular full-time job right now.
Dolores is one of those people that like cannot stay still. They have to be like moving and working. Like your grandma who can sit down. She has to be like making chores on anything to be fulfilled.
That really was my grandma. The only time she ever sat down was when she was bird watching.
Yeah.
Right, so Dolores is going to go alone to the church. There is
Yep.
a couple of bags that have been set out in like the entryway. They look quite bulky. They're fastened tight, and you are asked to carry them to the green.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and grab them up and start going.
This time the festival is like starting to wind up, so the rest of the party can go to the green as well if they like.
Yeah. When is the festival happening? Yeah.
7.
Okay. Like since it's starting, I assume there's not a lot of people.
There's mostly the ones that are focused on setting up. Not many of the average townsfolk have popped in yet.
Mm. Wait, Quintus is kind of cute, low key.
He is. He's got little femboy energy.
Yeah. Hi, Quintus.
I changed my mind. Turns out I'm actually a cat liker.
Him and his apprentice Selena are currently decorating the maypole that you see here with various wreaths that they've woven out of flowers and branches. They seem to have already done this welcoming arch. Dolores, Kadir just limps along with you and asks if you could carry the stuff up and pop them at the top of the steps next to the stump of a very large tree that seems to have been repurposed possibly centuries ago.
She obliges as she takes the load that she's carrying up that way.
He slowly limps behind you and he takes the stairs like one at a time, like putting both feet on each step as he goes. Once he reaches the top, he falls.
Oh, Forward or backward?
Forwards. Like he tripped on the last step.
Oh, and she just kind of like pushes forward, like tries to help him up. She's not going to try to catch him. She's not too dexterous, but she will like help him up afterwards. Are you all right?
When he's fallen, you see that his robes at the bottom kind of like fly up a little bit, and the leg on which he's been limping, you see that he has this rather dark rash. As you help him up, he very quickly like moves to straighten his robes, cover himself up. He looks around.
Is
Yes, I'm
your
just
leg
fine.
all right?
Yes, it's a birthmark. Had it since I was a babe.
Insight.
Go for it.
Is he lying to me? Dolores Hearthglow, are you lying to me? 18.
He is lying to you, Dolores Hearthglow.
Oh no, he shouldn't have lied to me. 1 second. Sorry, I had to blow my nose.
So,
She's going to kind of like look over, make sure like nobody is like listening or anything, and then she's going to like pull on his robe to make him like hunch over, and she says, you don't have to hide anything if it's something I can help with. I am a healer.
he sighs. When I was a child, I was trapped in a burning building. A flaming beam fell on my leg. My leg has never been the same since. It's burned, and I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh, well, that one I can't do anything with.
Except insight it.
I'm not gonna insight this time, but he says it's a burn, but the way you described it, that she noticed it was a rash.
Yeah, it didn't.
Can I?
It did not look like
like
a burn.
Yeah, can I use like a medicine to figure if like it doesn't like correlate, it doesn't match up?
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, he is still lying to you, Dolores Hearthglow.
Well, okay, so
And fun
sorry,
fact,
like
he rolled a 19 for deception.
yeah, he can fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay, but like with the medicine check, you know, said it was a rash. Like using my medical kind of like training, is it like a surface rash, like something you get from like a reaction, maybe like ivy or something, or is it like more of a deep set kind of thing?
Yeah, no, it looks quite infected. It looks like something that has been troubling him for a little while. I mean, he may be limping because of it. It's very much
She's
not surface.
She narrows her eyes, and although she is probably weaker than him, she is going to tighten her grip on his robes in a very kind of stern manner and say, Brother Kadir, it is not wise to hide any injury or illness.
I understand. I'm not hiding anything. It's just something I would prefer to deal with on my own.
Hold on, let me check. How low is he hunched down? As I'm like holding on to his robes, or is he hunched down at all?
He is resisting you a little bit, but he is not physically strong. So he's hunched down, so his head is at about 4'5", maybe a bit less.
Cool. That gives me enough time. That gives me enough room to reach up and slap him as I cast Lesser Restoration.
He seems very taken aback, twofold, because you've just slapped him and then healed him.
And then she's going to point and say, Boldre does not accept you to be hurting if you are unable to heal yourself immediately. You can seek help. We self-sacrifice for the benefit of others, but not when it harms ourselves. Now, how is your leg?
He turns away from you. Well, he tries to turn away. Are you still holding on to him?
Yeah.
He very slowly lifts the robe up, and you can see that the rash seems to be like creeping backwards, as if it's receding into itself. It feels better.
Good. Don't lie to me. And then she's going to make sure that everything is properly set up as he directed earlier.
I will say one thing before he lowers his robes again. You see, with your passive perception, you just see something kind of sparkle on his leg.
Shut up.
Do I notice anything on the ground?
You want to make an active check?
Yeah, I think if I notice something, I'm now going to actively check, especially since we were just talking about it earlier.
Mm-hmm. You feel like you may have been mistaken. Maybe just it was some sweat sparkling on his knee. You don't see anything on the ground.
Swear to God. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna continue working then.
Okay. You turn around, you get everything set up. He walks away with less of a limp, and sits at a table and begins to eat some lunch. And at that point, the other four of you will arrive at the festival.
Oh. uh, I want to talk to Davina and ask her, because out of everyone, I think Davina is the most uh appropriate person to talk to someone. To talk to the halfling and get intel out of him about Fortuna and Dionysus leaving, because he was the only one up when it happened.
Okay. Where is this halfling located? That's
The Bismuth, I believe.
The what? I'm sorry.
Bismuth.
The name, yeah.
Biz. Okay.
Like
I
the,
can do that.
I want to say it's a rock.
And I'm going to look my new friend.
As you all enter the festival grounds, Mayor Martin Payson III is there and just greets you all with a big beaming smile. He's got a turkey leg in one hand, stein of beer in the other, and encourages you all to avail yourself of the feast. I think Nonus will probably come along with Davina. Anissa lurks.
Yeah,
Moodily.
I mean, she's working. She wants to make sure she's got an eye on everyone. Because at this point, she feels like she's the only one working.
It's a party. That's why you're
She
in a
doesn't
party.
want to be here.
And for every party Anissa has ever been to since she was 15, she's been a bodyguard.
Poor Anissa.
Well,
Okay.
not the last one.
What do you mean the last one? She was a bodyguard.
But we determined that maybe bodyguard isn't the right field for you.
Okay, heretic, calm down.
Shots fired.
Wow, I am playing it so close to the chest, and you were like, fine, I'll make fun of you for something you didn't do. Meanwhile, I'm literally making fun of you for something you didn't do, which was properly protect somebody.
We'll see.
Okay, Anissa. I'll act as if you're on watch, like on a long rest. So please roll me a active perception check, and I'll bear that in mind going forwards. That
Could
is,
be worse.
isn't that the same as your passive?
No, it's
Oh,
one
wait,
less,
no.
actually.
One less. Alright, I
Yeah.
was reading the wrong person's. Cool, 17. I'll bear that in mind. Cain, you go over to talk to Quintoris. No, Selena. More decorations. They need to be brighter, louder, more fabulous. Oh, hi, Cain.
Well, hello there. And I'll give a smile and turns to Selena and give her a simple bow of my head. Like, Cain, a pleasure to meet you.
Welcome to our humble festival.
I heard you guys talking, and is there any problem with the decoration?
I'm just teaching my assistant how to do her job properly. After all, it is your wedding day, my dear. Yes, I suppose it would be nice if everything looks pretty.
Oh. And who's the lucky person?
Eustace. And she, not very subtly looks over to the grill where there is a fire ganassi, quite a well-built gentleman who is using his own fire to light said grill and to just torch all of these. There's lovely vegetables and quite a few cuts of meat. He's got a little apron on, and he's also sipping on a beer.
And I assume she's a Warojanaz?
Yes.
Oh my god. um, well, my congratulations. If you guys need any help with the decoration, I'm more than happy to help.
It's quite kind, but we're doing fine. We've been working on it for days. Are you sure you, the person I was talking to you about last night, Bismuth, he's over there by that other redhead. Is she a
Yeah,
friend of yours?
yeah, she's my companion. Uh, I let her do the talk. I'm not so great with talking to people. Solitude and out there.
Oh. Maybe you should hear what it is they have to say anyway. We're okay here, but thank you for coming by once again. He gives you
Oh.
like a look up and down, and he's staring at your crotch, Cain. Because
Well,
you still have cat hair on it.
okay. True, I
would you
didn't
like a
shower or
quick
anything.
cleaning spell? I didn't realize Esmeralda would be quite that prolific with her spreading her hair.
And I just look down and be like, oh, yeah, well, you see, due to my lack of coloration, it's quite hard to, and also my eye condition, it's quite hard to see white on white.
Say no more. He just waves his hand over, and the fur disappears. It is a very useful spell.
Out of character, we're all panicking.
Well, then I shall leave you both to the preparations.
Don't forget to grab yourself something nice while you're here.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
Davina, you have approached Bismuth. He appears to be setting tables, getting ready for the feast.
Oh god, he's literally a servant? Okay.
He is actually dressed in some of the nicest clothes that you've seen in the town.
Okay.
He's got on like a black leather armor that he seems to have stitched himself. The stitching's not the best, but it seems to be expertly cured. Unlike the armor that the mayor is wearing, it looks very new.
Interesting. Does Bismuth carry weapons out of curiosity?
He does actually have a small dagger.
Okay.
He carries himself in a way where you assume he's very used to having like a bow and crossbow on his a bow and a quiver on his back. Although he's not carrying them today, just the dagger.
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna kind of see myself in like kind of a central position and wait until he comes over to strike up a conversation with him, like as he's setting up this table.
Bismuth comes along. Good afternoon, dear.
Hi. Well, aren't you looking dapper today?
I could say the same thing about you, but I don't know you from Adam.
Who's Adam?
He's a friend of mine.
And he bears a resemblance to me, somehow that I doubt.
Look, it's just a phrase. How's it going? You and your friends new in town?
Yes, we're just passing through. Bit bored, honestly. You have any fun gossip to share? from out of town, so it's not like it's going to hurt anything.
Roll a persuasion check, please.
Okay, I can't roll lower than a 21 on this, though.
Still roll.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try roll. He has a +3 in his modifier.
What if you get a nat 20?
I got a 4.
I did roll. Is that not public?
Yeah, it's 29.
Oh, okay.
In terms of gossip, I'm not really sure what you're after. It's all very local stuff. You don't seem to be particularly interested in the locals.
Well, you know, girls such as I needs entertainment on the road. Any relationship drama?
Well, as you may or may not know, today is the marriage day of several people in town.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only day in which people can be married, but I am pretty sure that the druid's apprentice has already been living with her fiancé.
Scandal.
I'll keep seeing them in the mornings when I get up. They think they can be sneaky, sneaking out of their houses, doing the little scuttle of shame, but nothing hides from bismuth.
So you're an expert on secret relationships in town, then, hmm?
I'm an expert on hunting. Hunting secrets may be a side business of mine.
You should invest more in that.
Not many secrets to find in old towns like this.
Really? That's all? Just a young couple seeing each other off before their wedding?
Well, a couple of weeks ago we did have some big howdy-doos come through the town. They left a
Did you?
really big present for the local priest.
What sort of gift?
Just this big box. But there were all these holes poked in the box, like there was something alive inside of it.
Kadir, you son of a bitch. You lied to Dolores.
I can't believe he would go and lie like this on the internet.
Yes.
During the festival.
Wow, so like a pet of some sort. Interesting gift.
I've tried to ask him about it since. You know, I'm quite good with animals. I could get him to. I could ask the animal what name it wants, if it's feeling poorly or anything. But he denied ever having a pet. He said that it was a chicken that he ate for dinner.
Somehow I doubt that. Chickens are so common.
He said it was a special chicken, like an Angora chicken.
I kind of share this, like, did he really? You kind of like this skeptical look with this. With I'm building a rapport there of like, yeah, I don't believe that shit either.
I've tried to
Well,
sneak into
if
his
he
quarters.
says so.
I've tried to sneak into his quarters when I've been in setting up for my part of the festival, but he's got this magic lock on his room. Very distrustful, these out-of-towners. And he gives you a very pointed look.
I give him a wink. I've trusted every word that you've said, Bismuth. Now I'm insulted.
Well, you can't blame a man for being a bit cautious.
So does that make me the distrustful out-of-towner, or you distrustful?
Well, if I must confess, I wasn't born in this town.
Truly, where are you from?
Oh, you know, here and there. I was found in the woods as a kid, and I was brought up by a family of wolves.
Insight check.
Go for it.
My inside
Are
fucking
you
research, you
doubting
guys.
Wolf Boy?
Can I help be close by? Oh my god!
Where's your? I
You're
can't roll lower
joking,
than
you
a
speak
20
so
now.
well.
Yeah, you can help, Cain.
Okay.
Okay, let me roll again. It's not gonna be great with it. I'm really fucking good at talking. I'm really not that good at listening. Hey!
He's definitely the core of the story isn't a lie, but he's definitely telling a much wilder version of it to hide the truth.
That's a fancy story, Wolf Boy.
They haven't called me that since I was a nipper. In fact, they only ever called me Bismuth because I had a rock in my hand when I made it to the village, and apparently it was made of that.
Interesting. Who raised you? Aside from the wolves.
Well, it turns out that one of the wolves was actually Quintoris in disguise. So he's kind of like my pa. He is telling the truth about that part.
Okay, interesting. Well, I should let you continue with your preparations. Wink, Wolf Boy.
He blushes
How
a
if you
little
need
bit.
me?
That is a stereotype, and I do not appreciate it, madam.
Oh, trust me, you'd be delighted if I made you Hal.
He blushes more.
Yes! I win!
And scuttles away to set this table over here.
Let me see. I don't have prestidigitation as the character, do I? I will minor illusion, like, just to mess with him, like, 2 minutes later, just when he thinks that the conversation is, like, over and he's, like, done, just to mess with him, a wolf howling. Just the next time that he bends over to do anything.
He looks dead at you when it happens.
I wink.
That's not funny.
What are you talking about? Those are your relatives. Don't look at me.
I know the sound of my own wolf bar. That ain't it. He begins stomping away, and you can just hear him muttering under his breath, "Fucking out of towners, I swear to God. We should have a fucking wall built around. Keep him out. Let's build that wall."
He wants to build a wall. Okay, dodge the bullet there.
You know how in like Morrowind or Oblivion, when you start like fucking up the persuasion and they get more and more hostile with each interaction, that Davina was like doing good, and then she just kept hitting all the wrong ones, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this guy to actually like me. I got the information that I needed out of him. I learned from the vampire, okay? I don't need these people obsessed with me.
Love how Davina's like, okay, I got the info I wanted right now, so if I need anything later, fuck him.
Yeah, pretty much. But literally. I mean, one person laughed.
She's like, I don't need to talk to this commoner again.
Davina is the queen of gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a little while now. More people are beginning to filter into the festival. I could not be bothered to put down all the tokens, but imagine there's about 50 people in and around the green now.
Okay. I'm imagining them. I'm rotating them in my mind. I'm
Ooh.
giving them names and personalities. This one is Jimothy.
I swear to God, I had an. Wait, no, it wasn't an NPC. One of the in my last campaign, one of the player characters had like 10 names, and one of them was Jimothy.
Yeah.
Fuck if I can remember most of them though.
Jimothy and Timothon.
Eventually, Martin will raise his voice, and it seems to be magically made louder than it normally would be, as he calls for time for the maypole dance.
I'm gonna look over to Kadir just to verify if there's anything else that she needs to do.
It will be our turn after the feast. First, they dance to commemorate Arroway, and then they feast to commemorate Balinor, and then I marry them to commemorate Baldre. Why don't you go have some fun? Everything's set up. The feast will begin soon.
She nods as she'll not immediately. She does want to like look him over, make sure that he's not like, keeping anything else hidden from her. Because now it's like suspicion at this point.
So you want to give him a vibe check before you leave? Or
Yeah,
like,
I want a vibe check.
or just like perceive in general if he's looking like he really wants you gone.
I'm not too good at noticing like actual tells. I'm more emotional base. Dolores is an empath.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll an insight check.
25.
He is satisfied with your work, and doesn't seem too concerned with hiding anything from you at this moment in time. He seems quite satisfied with what's happening and what's going to happen.
As a player, I don't like that last thing you just said, but as Dolores, she is not going to think too much about it, and she will join up with the others until the ceremony starts.
Cool. Quintoris will take a bit more of a center stage. A couple of musicians set up near the base of the trunk and begin to play a jaunty little tune as about half a dozen couples link arms and grabbing one of the ribbons from the maypole between each couple. They all begin to dance around it. Once the song ends, each of the 6 couples step aside, and at which point anyone is invited to dance around the maypole if they see fit, to honor Arroweye.
I don't particularly care about honoring this god, but I didn't get to dance that much at the last ball, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll dance the commoners, I guess. Where is this thing?
I'm gonna give the commoners the pleasure of seeing me dance.
Would you like to invite this strong gentleman to dance with you?
Yeah. Let's go. I literally just grab his hand and start walking. He's not gonna resist.
The pair of you begin to dance together. Round and round you go. He seems to be a serviceable dancer himself. Not the best, but he could keep up in a court setting.
Interesting.
If he knew that dance. As Cain would approach, the Maypole Quintoris will give you a gentle smile. Have you ever danced around a maypole?
Well, have I? I think if that happens, that would be a long, long time ago.
Well, maybe I could help you refresh your memory. He holds out a hand.
With my gloves on, I'll take his hand.
It's very warm, his grip. He leads you towards the maypole. Between the pair of you, you grab a ribbon, and there's probably about like 20 people now dancing around the maypole. Some paired up. You see that there seems to be like older married couples that are dancing, reminiscing. There's a couple of toddlers that are they've grabbed a ribbon and then lifted their feet off the ground and are just letting the momentum of everyone else turning the maypole to just fly around it like Tarzan. You all have a great time, and eventually the song ends. At which point, Bismuth will stand on the stage and call everyone to feast in honor of Balinor. He motions over by the fire, which you now notice has had a couple of lamb roasting on it. And they begin carving and serving out pieces of lamb to everyone.
That's where I leave and go back to my table.
Yes, everyone seems to find their way to a table. The gentleman with whom Davina danced with bows towards you and tries to kiss your hand.
I will allow a kiss of the hand.
It's oddly gentle. It's clear he's learnt this somewhere. Been told, to treat a lady with respect. He straightens, bows at you again, and turns to leave.
Davina makes note of him, but she just curtsies and lets him go. For now.
If asked your name, would you share it with a peasant?
I think she would. But he has to introduce himself first, because that's manners.
Because I was thinking, would you think to ask a peasant his name?
In the nobility, the onus is on the gentleman to introduce himself, or for someone to introduce them, so...
It's also a tradition for the man to approach the woman for a dance.
Yeah! Well, he was too slow.
In that case, you walk away without never knowing his name, because he does not think to introduce, you do not think to ask. And he's just going to tell stories about the red-headed outsider he danced with once, and may even critique your dancing on its clumsiness.
He wishes. He wishes I would deign to step on his foot.
That was the first time I've ever danced with a woman who thought she had the grace of a pair of perfect feet and yet contained two lefties.
And then eventually I married Mary, who was my second cousin. On two different sides.
I can see Davina saying that in character.
As if that's not uncommon for the noble lines.
Yeah. How's your mother doing, Davina? Hepburn.
My mother's fucking dead, so you can't even make that joke.
You all have a nice long feast. The sun now begins to set. Have any of you been drinking much while you've been feasting? Wine, beer, and apple juice flow freely here.
Dolores would only drink of juice, especially because if she's going to be assisting with ceremony, even in like a lesser manner, she still would prefer to not, be imbibed.
Mm-hmm.
Wine, unless the wine is unless the wine is like really shitty quality, and then she'll switch to juice.
It's not bad. It's very clear that the village have been making their own wine for a good couple of 100 years. Yeah, so they've had experience, but the beer is better.
Cain will neither eat nor drink anything.
Okay. Anissa?
Same as Cain.
Fair enough.
Are you guys fully good? You know that the food at the end is not going to be much better than this.
Davina, as you have been drinking for a few hours solid, you would gain a point of exhaustion.
Even if I'm eating too?
Funnily enough, you can still get drunk if you eat.
If given the choice, I wouldn't drink to the point of like falling over.
All right.
Especially if it's just mediocre wine.
All right, you'll. It's more of a sipping than a hammering. In that case, forget the exhaustion.
There's no hard liquor for me to, do shots with, so.
It does take a lot to get you drunk. We'll forget it. After the feast is called, Kadia very quietly stands up and begins to walk toward the arch, where Martin then will stand up, raise his voice magically once more, and call that all couples who wish to share their love with Baldre and make their lifetime pact should now approach the arch, and say their vows. But many people do stay at the table, continuing to drink. Selena and Eustace are one such couple that stand forwards, holding hands, facing one another. Kadia begins to go through the vows that Dolores would be familiar with as well. Love one another in sickness and health. Revere Baldre through all of your days. And then he uncovers a piece of fabric that he has been grasping in his palm, and requests that each of them eat one of the objects that he holds inside the fabric in order to take Baldre fully into themselves.
What is he holding?
He's holding it a little too high. You can't see it.
Oh, fuck off.
As he picks one up, however, you can see it appears to be a shiny, soft egg. About
Ooh.
it's
Um,
very small. It's like a tenth of the size of a chicken egg.
Nope, I don't trust like that. God. Why don't I have thaumaturgy? Question.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. So, okay, so assuming these are the assuming these are what I think they are, like eggs, um would purify food and drink work here?
You can logic that it would not, as they're not technically like poisonous or toxic. It's a nature within the beast itself.
Uh Dolores, I am within range.
Mhm.
Dolores is going to run over and she is going to jump up and slap Kadir's hands before they grab anything.
Okay, can you please make me an athletics check? Or acrobatics, actually, go either way.
Acrobatics is my better chance. One may argue halfling nimbleness. No, I'll just attempt this raw. It's fine. Why me? Why me? Oh, hold on? I'm verifying real fast.
Okay.
Do you have anything that
Never
allows you to
mind.
reroll?
I have nothing. I have nothing.
Yeah, so it's actually a bit closer than you'd think. His reaction, he is mostly focused on the couple, so he doesn't see you until you're kind of leaping. Do you say anything as you leap?
She is going to yell out, "Don't eat those!"
He turns to see you. He turns his head to see you just in time, and just moves his hands out of the way as you rise up to try and slap them.
Okay, so as I miss and I land,
What,
I'm thinking, yeah,
what are you doing?
she's going to point at Eustace and Selena real fast, and she's going to say, "Do not consume those. Those are not part of the ceremony. He is trying to trick you using Baldre's name in vain."
The music stops. Everyone around the festival grounds now has your full attention.
She turns to Kadir and she points at him and she says, "Head priest Dionysus visited you, you said."
She did. They did.
And you, and you, and they gave you, did they give you anything?
I was given a set of new robes.
Insight.
Go for it.
Damn it.
Just from the
Heat of
back, you hear,
moment.
"Liar!" But I use minor illusion to do it, so it doesn't come from my section.
Kadir's head
Ventriloquism.
snaps up. His eyes narrow. I was not
I use
given
minor illusion to
anything.
pick up not my voice and come from a different point in the crowd.
He's scanning the crowd. I was not given anything untoward.
I cast minor illusion again. Someone give you a box with holes in it.
Dolores is going to glare at Kadir, no longer a stern look, but now one of like actual rage. And she's going to say, I told you not to lie to me.
He just shrugs. It is just chocolate. It is precious chocolate.
She is going to. She's going to stomp her foot and like aggressively like move towards him, and she's going to say again, this time no stutter, as she just delivers like a very hard tone in her voice. Now she says, I told you not to lie to me.
Oh shit. You've woken the beast.
Dolores,
Yes.
please make a wisdom
Ren.
saving throw.
Oh, you asked for the wrong thing, because that's my proficiency as a cleric. 16.
You, Kadir swears under his breath, but you just catch that what he's swearing is not a curse. It is the verbal components of a spell. He raises his hand to you, and you feel your legs beginning to lock, as if you are attempting to be held against your will, but your willpower is just too great because his DC is 14.
I take another step. Like this time now I'm just like imposed right in front of him, between like just kind of like stepping like closer towards him, and I'm just going to glare at him, and I'm just going to say, admit the truth.
Kadir is looking up, looking at everyone beginning to approach him. And we'll just say he would just raise his free hand in a sign of surrender. Alright. I was given these chocolate pieces as part of a new ceremony that Dionysus is trying out. They're meant to be good for the soul. That's all she said.
No, I'm not flatly trusting like that still. I'm still trying to eke out if he's even like still feigning to lie to me. 24.
Yeah, he is. Not only is he still lying to you, but you see his eyes dart to the ground as if he's stalling.
I'm looking down.
Fuck.
Perception check, please.
He fucking dropped them.
22.
Out of the bottom of his robe, you see a adult diamondback beetle has emerged and is coming for you.
You gotta do something. You can't just stand there. You can't just stand there.
Yeah, here's the problem. I suck with my weapons.
You have magic!
Yeah, Bash!
I
Bash
have
got sucked
one.
then.
I have one offensive spell.
Is it
Okay.
like obvious that all of this
Yeah.
is taking place?
Yes.
Yeah, it's attracted the attention of everyone.
No,
Uh,
but like,
I would actually.
can we see like the small details on that?
From your distance, Cain, you just wouldn't be able to make it out. Anissa, you can definitely see the beetle.
Okay, in that case, I want to get within like melee of Dolores. Don't worry, that sounds worse than it actually is. I just need to be within 5 feet of you.
Yeah, you're seeing this beetle scuttling towards you, and then you hear Anissa just charging, stomping, dashing to get to you.
Mace to Kadir's balls.
Okay.
Dolores is going to reach at her belt, and although she sees the beetle come towards her, she kind of doesn't want him to get away, even if this is a distraction. So to guarantee that Kadir is like not going to like get away, she is going to like free action, like draw her mace, and then just like swing up at his crotch.
Please, roll an attack roll against his crotch.
I told you I'm not good with these.
Your mace just gently brushes fabric. He looks confused. And takes another step back.
Reaction attack of opportunity.
Sure. Another attempt to mace his balls, and he falls to the ground.
So for this one, as he tries to go away, instead, I'm going to take, like, the upswing miss, and then I'm going to, like, carry it over, and I'm going to go for his previously bum leg.
Okay.
For 1 bludgeoning damage.
It's enough. The leg actually gives way completely, and he falls to the ground in pain. As he falls, you can see that while the infection has been cleared up and the veins, that would carry the infection through, have been healed, what remains is still deep holes in which the beetles have apparently burrowed and begun to use him as their host.
Ew.
Beatles has in plural.
As in plural. There are plural holes. And speaking of beetles, Anissa, what are you doing?
I'll try and attack it. Sure.
Yeah, because there's still a beetle coming for Anissa as Kadir is stepping away. So that is an attack roll, please. Assuming just like hitting it with your sword.
Sword, yeah. I haven't set up the new one, but it's the same damage roll.
Okay. 26 is more than enough. And you splatter this thing across the ground.
Yep.
There's a sickening crunch. There's a viscous white substance that's hanging onto your sword now.
Ew.
You can shake it off and it, falls off. Kadir has fallen prone. His leg is okay. I think Selena and Eustace are gonna get the fuck out of there.
That's probably for the best.
Smart choice.
Quintoris and Martin will both finish approaching by now. What on earth do you think you are doing to my town and its festival? He's directing this towards Dolores mostly.
She's gonna turn back with a hand out. She says, he's burying the beetles that were plaguing the rest of this area. Please, stay back.
Can you please roll a persuasion check? He's confused.
Luckily-
He doesn't know what's going on, but you're the newcomers here.
So, fun thing. You ask for a persuasion check, so I get a bonus d4 to this.
Mm.
Would I be able to argue advantage because there is a literal dead beetle just by the, Anissa's blade?
Argument accepted.
Okay, so I'll mark advantage, 1d4 bonus. That is 20.
Dirty 20. Martin regards the dead beetle. Can you seize him? Guess it's time to make use of our jail.
Anissa?
Yep.
with the more than 8 strength that I have.
Martin will accompany you as you are asked to bring Kadir across town. There is it seems to once have been a storage room that was turned into a prison. It doesn't seem to get used very often, but Martin remarks that this is not the first time they have had to lock someone away. It's a low crime rate, though.
Can I approach Crouch Down, and with, I don't know, maybe I was quit or something, pick up the dead beetle, put into a vial.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna give a look to Quintoris, because he told me before that he would love to analyze the beetle, and I could use some help for.
Nothing like a dead beetle to give someone to start a courtship.
Dolores's knees wobble and she falls onto her butt as she just kind of like sits there taking breath. She's like, do you think I was too mean?
Are you kidding? Was that a joke?
I just felt like maybe I could have held back a bit on the sternness there.
Next time you could try just letting somebody kill you and kind of see how that works out for you, but I think you handled it fine.
That's just silly.
Precisely.
Are those eggs, are they dropped on the ground too?
Yeah, there's just a little folded handkerchief on the ground, and it has about a dozen eggs inside.
I'm not going to enter closer until somebody incinerates those.
Assuming that they're not going to have like an AC or move or anything.
No.
She's just gonna take like the head of her mace and just like make sure that it's thoroughly smashed.
Takes you a little while because they are quite small, and this outer shell it's not like hard like a chicken egg would be, but it is tough to get through.
Okay. Then it's like looks over to Nonus as she like quivers and stands up, and she's like, "Nonus, do you have fire that you can do?"
Does he have fire he can do?
Does he happen to have a firebolt?
As it happens, I have the ability to create bolts of fire whenever I need to. He'll come over and
She'll step aside to like avoid any kind of like splash or anything.
he just decimates them with fire. Good job on realizing what was going on.
Unfortunately, as much as I like to put my trust in people, there have been quite a lot of doubts, and it feels like if it does feel like that I need to act on them more than not. Do you think you and Quintoris there would be able to get into his chambers in the church to dispose of the rest?
We will certainly give it a try. Nonus will go over to Quintoris and Cain. Quintoris is just squinting at the beetle. He's sad that it's dead, because now he can't ask it questions.
I want to take out my med
Revivify
kit.
scroll.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like a precise like autopsy of the beetle and try to learn as much as I can in medical knowledge.
You see that this beetle was gravid at the time of its death. Meaning it had quite a few eggs inside of it that were developing, and could have very easily have finished developing inside of Dolores's leg.
Oh. Damn, she's lucky.
Well, yeah, that's my feat.
um, will Quintoris be able to notice anything else with me?
He asks for some time to be able to analyze it more properly. But does remark on the sharpness of its pincer. Seems to be able to cut through even steel.
Yeah. Can I tell by the eggs inside of it, like have a kind of guess how much time does it take to like lay the eggs?
Make a medicine check, please.
Okay.
Or you can use your tool, actually, if you prefer.
Just thinking of
Sure.
these like a really fucked up mix between a botfly and the scarabs from the Mummy.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Do they
use my
buzz under the skin?
kid. Oh, that reminded me there.
What'd you roll?
Hold on, I'm trying to. It's actually I got from my 10. My medicine is higher. 25.
From the physiology, you can reason that the beetle would have the ability to lay an egg and hold it in one of its own legs and like stuff them into wounds. So it could be instantaneous from being harmed and being laid.
Damn.
Whether or not they have the intelligence to do that, however, you can't be sure. But you
So
do.
pretty much they hurt, put the eggs, and then the eggs eclode already.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it would then be quite important once harmed, to clean the wound out to remove any egg.
Okay. With that roll, could I also try to see like how long it takes to allow I to become a full beetle?
You reason that it looks like these eggs look quite a bit smaller than the ones that were being held, so it could probably be anywhere from a week to a month.
Okay. Yeah, I'll relate this information to the party, and I think that's all I'm gonna do with this video, and wait for Quintori's analysis.
Back to Anissa. Kadir has been successfully locked away in the prison. He's also been tied up inside it. Do you want to do anything else while you're there, or return to the grounds?
Does this town actually have any form of guard?
Not anything formal, no. Martin himself will stand guard for the meantime, until the festival is over and one of his friends, some from the night before, will come and help out.
I mean, there's a clear look of disappointment at no mention of a proper form of guard, but this nerd will suffice. And I'll go back to the group.
Great. So you return back to the festival grounds. Probably just as Cain finishes the autopsy. Dolores, you hear people approaching you behind.
Yeah, she turns.
You see it's the couple that was about to be married / murdered.
/ indoctrinated and
Yeah.
be made full and round with beetles.
Forgive me for asking, but are you also a priest of Baldre?
Yes, I come from the temple in Aricie.
Have you performed marriages before?
Yes. In fact, if needed, I could come. I could come, and then she. I could finish the ceremonies tonight. I know it might be a bit strange, especially after that stress event.
We would love that very much. We are eager to
Okay.
move in together.
How many marriages are there tonight?
6. We can hand wave it as you do them if you like.
No, I can do them. The issue is, I'm gonna be reduced down to 2 bags of powdered silver.
Oh, ceremony.
Yeah, ceremony.
I'm assuming the couples show up with their own material components, or they're already there because the ceremony was supposed to take place here.
Yeah, Kadia has
Oh.
them.
Part of the supplies was powdered silver among them.
Yes.
Thank God. Because this is 25 gold pieces worth of powdered silver. So like God, let's see, 6, so that's 150 gold worth of silver.
Yep. Which he happened to have on him. He actually had 7 bags.
Cool, I'm adding 1 to my...
Yeah. Just in case,
I'm,
there was a
I'm not stealing
shotgun
it,
wedding.
but he's not gonna use it.
Yeah, it's not stealing, it's you're seizing evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, so for the rest of the night, Dolores will spend the time ritually doing ceremony for the remaining couples under the proper under the proper blessings and rituals of Boldre.
Great. Eustace and Selena will say their vows to one another, and be bonded in marriage, and thank you before leaving.
And congratulations, you now have a +2 bonus here AC for the next 7 days while you're within 30 feet of each other.
They nod awkwardly at you as they leave.
What's AC?
I love that there's a stipulation that divorce is not, it does not count for this spell.
Yeah, it's only if you become widowed.
In total,
which is why...
Go for it.
It's why part of the strategy involving power gaming with this is that you have to charm someone who's expendable, and then marry them under ceremony, and then let them die in combat.
Hey, random villager, get over here.
That is quite the strat.
JK.
And listen, +2 bonus to AC for 7 days. That's a fucking deal. That's a free shield.
Literally.
Listen, I can't. I have to marry gentry or higher.
But yeah, so over the next several hours, she'll finish performing the marriage ceremony rites.
What does the rest of the party get up to in this time? Anissa has returned.
Given that Dolores is doing this, I will be covering Dolores, given, Yeah.
I think Davina's kind of freaked out, just checking her skirts every 5 minutes to make sure there's nothing on them. You know that feeling when you see, like, I don't know if anyone has ever seen, like, a bug in their bed, and then you're like, I'm itchy all day. That's Davina.
Did I just swallow that wine weird earlier, or was there something in it?
Pretty much. She's just, like, checking herself constantly, yeah.
I've never had a bug in my bed, but I did have a spider on a towel, and I didn't notice until I was using the towel once.
Ooh.
One time, so my grandma had this house that she no longer lived in, and I had to go with her at night, and I was hugging this like lantern that we had. When I put it down, I was like 10 or 11 at the time. I put it down for a moment, did some like manual labor for her. When I went to go pick it up, I noticed that the side that was hugged towards my body was covered in cobwebs and had a big black widow hanging out on it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't notice them.
Yeah. So Davina, like, yeah, every time like a bit of your hair tickles your clothing, or your skin, I mean, for a little while, you're gonna be like, oh, is that a beetle?
She's basically just constantly checking herself, checking her hair, checking her skirts, like, yeah. Eventually she stands on top of a chair.
Because we all know the beetles can't jump over a chair.
Here's the thing: if the beetle's gonna jump up onto the chair, I'll see it do it. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like looking at the grass. She's like, "I got this."
No, I mean like
kind of.
They can jump 10 feet.
Ah!
Ah man, handcrafted
Basically,
furniture. That's
she's
the one
invisible.
thing we can't leap over.
She's invisible distress, just waiting until she can leave this place.
I think you're gonna be stressing until we leave this part of the continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the next section of the campaign, guys.
Davina has panic attacks.
If this keeps up, I'm gonna add it as a flaw to your character sheets.
Only if you add cool stuff to, like, men fall at my feet for no reason.
No.
If I
gain
get
the
flaws,
alert.
I also get traits.
Davina gains the alert feat, but only for insects.
That could be quite OP in this section of the campaign.
And then nowhere else.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, you guys can leave the festival after all the ceremonies are done. It is very dark, so you are actually invited to sleep in the community centre this evening, all together, or the church if you prefer, as like a free bedding.
How was Nonus and Quintoris able to handle getting into the chambers if they were magically locked up?
That is something I will discuss with Bailey.
Gotcha. Dolores would feel more comfortable in the community center then until, like, that's confirmed.
The community centre, just to clarify, is also the place in which Kadir is now being jailed in.
Oh, God.
It's a small village, they don't have many resources.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
It's fine. If he tries to run away, we were here. So
But yeah, you guys can all bed down in the community centre and have a nice long rest. Do you guys want to do watches at all, though?
Davina will take first watch.
yeah, me too. I'll take the second.
Okay.
Dolores will take third.
I guess
Oh, there
Anissa
you
will
go.
take fourth then.
Mm-hmm.
Davina, please
Sorry to-
roll. Please roll your perception.
This is not going to be good, but oh well. This is what she would do. She's not going to sleep. Hey, actually good.
Yeah, you're very alert right now. You are very like wary as to anything that's happening. You guys are sleeping in this like meeting hall area that you've basically been invited to roll your bedrolls out into. So there's not a lot to keep track of. A couple of times you think you hear skittering on the walls. But as you turn to look, you find that it's only a spider.
Yeah. I obliterate the spider. No, I use Mage Hand to pick it up and just like fling it towards the nearest body of water.
There is
I hope there's
Fuck
still
outta
bodies
here.
of water in here.
there is a wash basin in the room.
Yeah, I drown in the wash basin using Mage Hand.
That's going to be a fun surprise if someone wants to wash the sleep from them tomorrow.
Reason to
And
worry.
it's probably going to be you.
Nah, I'll remember that I did this.
Otherwise, you're
I'll fish it out afterwards and just throw it away. But the spider's for sure dying before I leave it alone.
your mage hand like holds it down until you're sure it's
Oh
not
my
breathing.
god. Drawing the spider.
I mean, no one else is awake to watch, so yeah, that's what's gonna be happening.
No animals were harmed in the making of this campaign.
Only arachnids.
This is all pretend, you guys. Also, the beetles are the bad guys, so.
Yeah, the beetle specifically. One species of beetle.
Otherwise, your watch goes without incident. I presume you go wake up Cain.
Mm-hmm. And I will sleep as near to Anissa as practicable.
You set your bedroll up right next to Anissa's, almost like spooning her.
There's no touching, but that I do want to be close.
Okay. Does Anissa sleep in her armor?
No,
Okay.
that sounds fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's the question that some people like. Oh yeah, I sleep in my armor. Cool, exhaustion.
I don't know how I feel about that personally. If it's like plate armor, I could see it, but if it's just leather armor, eh. It's never come up, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Well, I think that's because everyone saw like you get exhaustion if you sleep in armor, and everyone's like, well, why would I want to sleep in armor then?
Fair.
That sounds tiring.
Cain, please roll your watch. The 19. You hear a song being sung somewhere else in the building. It's a bit of a slow, mournful tune. And then the guard, you can hear the voice of the guard shouting, "Shut up!"
Ah. Do I recognize the song?
Roll a history check.
Ooh. Not my best one. No.
What is music? You don't know. It's not a song you think you've heard, but you only heard a couple of bars, very muffled as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is all that happens. Dolores, you're awakened for your watch.
Mm-hmm.
Please do the roll.
14.
14. You make sure to stay alert, stay awake. But you can't hear anything more than you hear the sound of the guard changing. A few rooms over, you hear the old one leaving. He's yawning and talking about how he can't wait to get back into his bed. And the two of the guards, as they meet in the corridor, start talking about how annoying this prisoner is and how he keeps singing in this weird language.
Dolores is gonna go over towards the holding area and is just going to go up to like the fresh guard and is going to say, excuse me, do you mind if I speak to Brother Kadir?
Yes, been hearing nothing but his voice all night. Apparently.
So
But
yes, he does mind, or
yeah, he minds because he's not very fond of Kadir right now and kind of wants to isolate him, but will ask whether or not you're going to try and kick him in the balls again.
no? It's an important matter. I need to ask him questions concerning the attempt to spread this blight that we were informed of.
Is there a reason you can't wait till morning for Martin to come?
I would like to just speak to him real quick. Please, if it's not too much to ask.
Can you roll me a persuasion check, please?
That's another 1d4 because of my ever hospitable.
Mm-hmm.
25.
Fine. Make it quick. He unlocks the door.
Dolores nods and says, "Thank you," and then goes inside.
The door locks behind you. And Brother Kadir is sitting, leaning up against the back wall. Both of his legs are bare now, and you can see that it is just in the leg in which he was limping that there seems to be some infection.
Is there anything like moving as if like it's still being like hosted, or is it just like the aftermath of infection?
It looks more like the aftermath. Like, this isn't the first village he's visited and done this kind of thing in.
She's going to sit down on the ground, keep like a 5-foot gap between the two of them.
Mhm.
And she's just going to like look over at him. Is he singing right now, or is he non-responsive?
He wasn't singing when you walked in, but he is awake and he is watching you as you sit down.
She just kind of like looks over at him and she says, "Why did Brother Dionysus, or no, that wouldn't be right, huh? I don't think there's like a gender neutral term for like
Head priest Dionysus.
yeah, I'll just go with that. Well, why did head priest Dionysus forsake Boldre?"
Kadir hangs his head. I don't know.
What did Dionysus tell you when you met them?
They told me that I would be doing the most important work of all by spreading the infection.
Did they invoke any name, any higher power that they were doing this for?
They said something about it being an act of revenge against the heretics and the liars.
Could I attempt to determine with like religious knowledge if that feels like it aligns with any of the chaotic six?
You can.
17.
17, let me just look at my notes. It does sound similar to the practices of the shadow. Especially the use of magic to harm magic. The shadow benefits those who benefit from corruption.
That's hilarious because the shadow is also the shadow of Orion, who is the partner of Poultry. God damn it. Stop it!
I'm sorry.
She kind of just like rubs her head.
like not wanting to believe this. Like she really tries to find like good in people, but it's like really difficult with this kind of like not really a conflict of faith, but it's more like conflict of humanity, sort of like edging on nearing nihilism.
Hmm.
And you were so easily swayed by this. You decided to take this, which obviously goes against Baldre's blessings.
As you stare into his eyes looking for an answer, you see his sclera, the whites of his eyes, are shiny, like glitter or a diamond.
Oh, god damn it.
And
Is he acting?
uh, he just kind of smiles. We will win in the end.
Um, can I determine like his state of mind?
Yeah, do you want to go for a vibes check or like more medicine?
Yeah. Um, huh. No, I want to determine his intention because, like, as he says, we will win. I want to know if he's like talking specifically about Dionysus and hit and their heel turn, or if Kadir is suddenly like become we are Legion Beetles.
Right.
25.
It seems like it's both. The consciousness of Kadir is merging with that of the Beatles, and he is speaking in even broader terms.
Oh boy. Uh, Dolores is going to stand up.
As you stand up, he raises both of his hands as they're bound, and with his right hand, he twists to wipe the back of his head, and the hand comes away bloody. He slaps the hand down on the ground so there's just a blooded handprint. We will win.
Is he attempting to do something, or did he just do the one act?
He's done it as a symbol.
Okay. Okay, so oh, well, I think I joined after the Core of Night. Like I don't have like a very intimate knowledge of it, so I wouldn't like directly understand this.
Fair. I'm more just making it more clear for the players.
Okay.
Because the cult of the hand use a red handprint instead of the white in their sigil.
Hmm. Hear me out. Dolores is like wary, but at the same time, she is going to bonus action to cast Sanctuary on herself.
Okay.
And then she is going to approach Kadir and cast Lesser Restoration on his leg.
And lesser
And,
restoration does blinded, deafened,
because you said
paralyzed,
his legs
poisoned.
still like had infections, so
Oh no, it looked like the infection was cleared away, but like the holes that the beetles burrowed in him still remained.
Could I use cure wounds then to try to like close it up?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll use cure wounds instead then, instead of lesser restoration. I'm just gonna make sure that I mark off all the spell slots for right now until I can verify the finalized long rest stuff.
Yeah.
And as she does this, she's just going to look at him and she says, despite you turning and going against Boldre, that does not mean that I still do not care, especially for the priest that used to be. I do not care for what you've turned to. That does not mean I still wish for you to die too soon.
He regards you silently, but there's a hint of just derision in how he's looking at you.
Yeah, she kind of expected it. Like, she wasn't expecting him to suddenly like gain like sympathy or like revoke his stuff, but it's still like what she wanted to do. So she just like turns around, knocks on the door for the guard to open and let her out.
Which he does.
Okay.
And as the door is being closed, once you're out and locked, you hear a song in Elvish beginning to be sang. It's a song, or it is a funeral song, an ancient funeral song.
Awesome. Love the implications of that.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just like I wouldn't say common because you said ancient, but is this something that was like customary for just like funerals in general, or is this more of kind of like something for like specific occasions, like a mass tragedy or something?
It is the type of song that is sung when a noble is interred into the ground.
Love the implications of that. Dolores will just slowly like walk out, finish her watch, and then wake up Anissa.
Okay. Anissa, can you do the roll for me?
I can certainly try. Yeah, sounds about right.
You're quite bleary-eyed after watching people so intently all day. You've not felt quite as rested as you normally would. Slept bad, maybe. Dreams of the past kept invading them. You couldn't help but keep hearing the song that was sung when the emperor was buried, rattling around in your head even though you weren't at the funeral. You don't see anything of import happen on your watch, but nor are you interrupted. Which means you will gain the benefit of a long rest. And I think we will end the session there for this week.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Hey, none of us got infected.
Yeah,
Yes.
we managed to stop it.